Yo, what up guys, this is Rambo Adventures, and for today's test ride video, I'm test riding the BMW GS 1250. Okay, so I'm riding the GS 1250. This is not the Adventure variant, so it's about 20-litre fuel tank. And if you haven't seen my previous video, I test rode the XR. So I will be putting this up against the XR and also the older version, which is the 1200. I've also done a video to that, and I'll link it up on top if you haven't watched it. Okay, the main difference to this bike is very clear in the name itself. It's a 1250, so it's a slightly newer engine, about 50cc more, but the biggest improvement is what they call the shift cam engine. So basically, what's a shift cam? For those of you who ride Honda, it's basically VTEC, similar to that. So for example, if you only have 8 valves, 4 on each cylinder, when you're riding like now, you will only engage about half of it. So once you hit 5000 RPM, you will engage all. So let's see how good this is. Yep. So when you hit 5000 RPM, you engage all of your valves, meaning you have better oxygen flow, better fuel, more combustion, which means also more power. And you have higher horsepower, higher torque. So basically you have more output compared to when you're riding below 5000. So the thing about this kind of engine is, when you're riding like normally around town, something like this, you do save a bit of fuel, because you don't need so much power when you're cruising. Only when you throttle the engine, then you need such power. So when you look at how smooth this engine is, there really isn't any vibration at all. It is smooth, like really smooth. You can hear the engine rumbling, a bit of vibration in your hands, but when you're throttling out, dropping gear, accelerating, it is smooth. It feels so smooth, it kind of doesn't feel like it's a flat twin. Because normally these boxer engines, these flat twins, they do give a bit of a vibration. But so far the only vibration I feel is within my wrists. You got nothing on your glutes, your thigh, your legs, none. Unlike the XR, which really goes up your spine when you're throttling very high. So on the engine, yeah man, I think it's a pretty good design. It's a super smooth, good amount of power. Yep. A little twist and it flies. That is insane. The engine is great, so is the shifter. Unlike the S1000 variants, that series, this quick shifter is not as smooth, but then again you don't need such a smooth quick shifter because you are riding a flat twin. Oh, this is so smooth. So now let's look at comfort. It is comfortable. Arms below your shoulder, your legs tucked in, but it's not too much, unlike the Sports Tourers. It's a bit more straight. You've got really good comfort when you're moving the bikes, when you're turning. Woo! The seat is super comfortable. Even the pillion seat seems very nice. It is a very good thickness. It's not too hard. It's soft enough to actually take on the shape of your glutes. but at the same time it's quite firm, so like, no, it's not like you're just sinking in it. So it's a nice balance, and so far I'm loving it. It's very nice. Okay, when we talk about agility, normally these sort of adventure bikes have very good agility due to their height, and because they're very high up, they tend to be much easier to ride around with. So the O1200, I've mentioned that it is really good. So in terms of agility, the O1200 had the same. Oh, look at it! It's beautiful. This bike is so easy to ride. I did mention that the XR was a bit more harder to ride for let's say a beginner on slow speeds, even though the XR is much smaller than the GS. The GS is pretty big, especially the adventure variant, but I'm not riding that. I'm just riding the normal variant. But I love how easy it is to ride. It's easy to ride in slow speeds, it's very good on high speeds. And look at the sound. It sounds way better than the XR. Alright, let me just turn this off. Okay, so the GS is definitely much bigger. As you can see, it's quite wide. I love the new color on it. I think it brings out a very nice balance between the black and the yellow. Spoke wheels, not a fan of it, but I mean, it does look nice. Okay, so the thing about these flat twins is easy to maintain. You don't need to take out any fairings, you can quickly reach. So when you talk about functionality when you're touring, if anything would happen to the engine, I feel it is much more easier to self-maintain compared to the sports tourers. You talk about luggage, you can put a tank bag. You've got enough space for you got 3 boxes, and if you don't like the top box, you can always put a 2, and you can always put a soft luggage on top. So it's pretty versatile. Now for the pillions, yeah, I told you the pillion seat is actually pretty nice. It's comfortable enough for a long ride. Your rider seat, you don't have to really worry about it. It is super good. So in terms of engine, superb. Comfort, definitely there. Agility, it is on point. I don't see any negative things about it so far. Oh, it just opens, there's no key lock, huh? Yep. Like I said, I love how the new bikes turn on like this. I just love pressing the button. Alright, just going to take a few pictures and I'm going to continue the ride. I'm going to focus on the controls, the TFT display, and the overall functionality of this bike. Okay, so the controls for the GS 1250 is the same as the older models. You've got the control column here. You can rotate, press in, out, whichever you need to. Your menu, suspension, high beam, your horn, all on the left side. Then on your right, you've got your mode. So right now, I am currently riding on Dynamic Pro. Now for the TFT display, it is the same TFT display as the XR, but the way your controls, your parameters are displayed is different. So for this, the RPM is on the outside with the speed in the middle and the gear. To be honest, it is very clear. You don't need to really change it. So I like the back background, and the white contrast is enough for you to see. Now for adventure bike, wind protection is also very important. The stock one is pretty low. You can always change it out, so this is nothing too great of issue. And of course, you can put your sat-nav over here. I personally don't see a need for it. You can always put your phone, but if you want to save your battery for your phone and you got a lot of money to spare, then yeah, you can always get that. Now for the price between the two bikes, the standard variant of the GS is around 67,000. The XR is cheaper at 65. Does it justify the price? I think it's a GS, it's got all the tech and it's super functional. So definitely that price is actually quite okay. I wouldn't say it's overpriced. I mean, you can control your suspension, not just the mode but your height. So I'm in the lowest suspension setting. So if you're someone that is short, the GS, although the GS is a bigger bike, it looks big. For a smaller rider, I still feel you can handle this bike because you can adjust the suspension. So I'm 172 cm, 5'6", but I'm very comfortable on the GS. I can comfortably stand. I can almost flat foot my leg. It's like only the heel is up, so it's not too bad. But this is obviously on the minimum height setting of the suspension. So functionality, I feel all touring bikes like adventure tours, sports tours are all very functional bikes because you've got a huge fuel tank, you can carry a lot of weight, it's very comfortable, you've got a lot of tech on this, you can pillion comfortably. So if you ask me, I feel it's an all-rounder bike, excellent for city rides. So like if you're in Singapore, places like this, and you do like to occasionally tour, I feel these kind of bikes are really good. The only difference that sets the XR and the GS really apart is in terms of what you want to do. XR, very very good for street riding and all the way on tarmac. So in terms of going on road, I feel the XR would be a better choice, especially for sports bike riders, because it is a powerful bike. It really is. Whereas for the GS, I feel it's very good for someone who not only wants to just go far, but also occasionally hit off-road. And if you want to pillion, the XR, oh, it's a very good option. Now if you talk about power, I'm not saying the GS has no power. It is very torquey, and I am someone who personally likes very torquey bikes. That's why I love Harley, Indian, those kind of low torque bikes. Even the KTM, the Super Dukes, the Ducati, these bikes, I love them. The inline 4s tend to be less torquey on the lower end. They're meant for very high range power outputs. So if you're someone who likes torquey bikes and you like that occasional, this type of pull, the GS is a superb bike. In high RPMs, I mean after 5000 RPM, when the shift cam engine activates, you have a lot of extra power. But of course, if you're going to go at top speed at 8000 RPM to almost 250 km per hour, the XR will definitely beat the GS because it is designed after that 1000 engine. So if you ask me if the GS 1250 is a very good bike from BMW, okay, it's a definitely good bike. It's amazing TFT display, good amount of tech, easy to use controls. You can adjust your seat settings, you can adjust your suspension, you can adjust your power from rain to dynamic, whichever you need. It is comfortable for long distance. It is easy to ride around cities, especially the current variant I'm riding. The Adventure is a bit too big, so I would honestly recommend this. Extra 10 liters, it's a lot if you're going very far. But if you're a city rider who travels every day to work and you want to do this for both touring and everyday bike, the GS, the standard variant, the 1250 is a good one. So if you guys got any more questions, do hit me up in the comment section. Do like, subscribe and share, especially the likes, man. It helps with the algorithms for YouTube. So if you're looking for an adventure bike, I mean the GS, man, it's a definitely good bike. So stay safe on the road, ride safe. I'll see you guys with another video, alright?